Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady. Is today's passage, and in case you want to take this as a test, all you need to do is go on to www.thegurukul.org.in and register for the 100 days to CAT test series. Now this is a completely free test series where we'd be uploading 100 tests of quant, LRDI and verbal ability, okay, to help you stay consistent with your CAT 2025 prep and crack CAT 2025 this year. So this is your first paragraph. Pause the video here, jot down all the main points, and then we'll move into the second paragraph. Now this is your second paragraph. Pause the video here, jot down all the main points, then we'll move on to the third paragraph. Now this is your last paragraph, third paragraph. Pause the video here, jot down all the main points, then we'll move on to the questions. Now this is your question number 1, guys. Take 1 minute for each question. Pause the video, time yourself, and then write down the correct answer. Now this is your second question, guys. Pause the video here. Now this is your third question, guys. Please pause the video over here. Now this is your fourth question, guys. Please pause the video over here. Now, since you're done with all the questions, please put down all these answers in the comment box so that we get to know how many of you got all 4 correct. Let's move into the passage and question explanations. So, this passage, a 7.2 long cave at Malma, so again, this might be a little hard for us to pronounce, Malmla. So we are just going to say at M, okay. So a 7.2 kilometers long cave at M in a small village tucked away in the East Khasli Hills district of Meghalaya just attained a permanent spot in the study of Earth's geological history. The cave now marks the current geological age. So what do I understand from here to here? That there's some cave M which talks about the, or which has a means to tell us about the current age of Earth. Right. The International Union of Geological Sciences recently announced the division of the last 11,700 years on the geological time scale into 3 parts. Lower Holocene or the Greenlandian age, Middle Holocene or the North Grecian age, and the Upper Holocene or the Meghalayan age. Okay. Now what do I understand here? 11,700 years have been broken down into 3 parts. Okay. Lower Holocene, Middle Holocene and Upper Holocene. Nothing much. Okay. So this is basically a very descriptive passage. The Meghalayan age started 4,200 years ago when agricultural societies around the world experienced a mega drought. So, this agricultural societies, okay, 4,200 years ago experienced a mega drought. Drought is where you have very less rains, okay. The time period of the beginning of the Meghalayan age is defined at a specific level in the stalagmite specimen collected from the M cave. Meghalaya has an extensive network of caves attributed by scientists to the significant limestone bedrock omnipresent in the region. So, this is that limestone bedrock, okay. So this is the stalagmite specimen which is collected from those caves, and there's a lot of such things in the caves in Meghalaya. There are a lot of this S specimen in the caves of Meghalaya. The M specimen provided the best record of the climate at that time to the researchers. So this specimen, whichever we are looking at, that specimen which we got from the M cave, okay, let me just call it as the M cave specimen. Okay, one thing that I understand is that it is abundant, okay, in Meghalaya, and the second thing that I understand is that it gives me an accurate, record of the climate. So provides record of climate. So this is what we understand from the first and second paragraphs of this passage. Let's go to the third paragraph. Lying adjacent to the tourist hotspot of Chirapunji, the M village of 230 odd families is more known for the Malwa Chera Cements Limited. So MCCL cement factory. So basically, what do I understand? People in M village work for MCCL, which is nothing but a cement factory. Okay. The first such factory in Northeast, established in 1960s, its towering structure dominates the village landscape. The man who helped the geological scientist zero in. Now this zero in, okay, in this context you can think about as find. Okay, geological scientists find or get into the details of the little known M cave is the 71-year-old someone, BKD. Okay, he's also credited with discovering, exploring and mapping 1700 odd caves in Meghalaya. So this BKD person, he has, found and mapped a lot of caves, 1700 to be precise. Now, the researchers behind the geological study who first came to Meghalaya in 2003 to get stalagmite specimens said that the choice to work in this region was because of the two reasons. First, the presence of so many cave systems, and second, the fact that the region is critical indicator of the overall strength of the Indian monsoon. So there are two reasons, okay, to work at Meghalaya. First one, the number of caves, and the second one, okay, see, the second one is about the strength. This region tells about strength of Indian monsoon. Right. So, therefore, studying the history of the monsoon from this region sheds light on the overall history of monsoon. So, if we are talking about monsoon from here, monsoon in Meghalaya is the same as understanding about history, and all this about is the history, okay, is the history of monsoon everywhere, right? So let's go forward. The last paragraph, the specimen of M along with a handful of others from Meghalaya provide a history of monsoon throughout the Holocene period. So we will understand about the history of how rains have happened throughout the Holocene period. This history enabled us to recognize and document the extraordinary changes in monsoon system which about 4,000 years ago. So what happened 4,000 years ago in the monsoon system, that also we are able to understand and document specifically. Aware that the cave may soon become a tourist destination like other caves in the States, Daly says, for economic benefit, some caves have been turned into a show caves with proper lighting and other facilities for tourists, but not all caves can be converted like this because caves are meant to be preserved. They are the natural scientific resources. So what is happening? Okay, now since the cave in M got recognized, it may become a tourist spot. Okay, but BKD says this should not happen. Okay. However, the primary concern regarding M cave is that the MCCL mines for limestone on the surface above it, which experts like Daly say can cause its collapse. So, the threat that we are able to see here is that the MCCL mines for limestone, which could cause collapse of this cave. So, this is a very, very descriptive passage, okay. It's a very nice and easy passage to read and understand. Let's look at the questions now. The first question, the primary purpose of the passage is to, look, A says, recognize the scientific importance of the cave systems in Meghalaya for a geological study. Now, this is kind of correct, okay, it's been told in the passage, but this is very partial in scope. So, I'll remove this from my list of the answers. Draw attention to the damage inflicted by MCCL on the M cave and also the potential damage from tourism. Now, see, obviously we are talking about the potential damage from tourism in the last parts of the paragraph, but what is the damage that, MCCL has already done to M cave has not really been spoken to us in the passage. He says that they are mining, so there could be damage, okay. So, this is also partial, so I'm going to remove this. Convey the importance of M cave that helped mark a geological age. Yes, this is what the initial parts of the passage talks about, and to draw attention to the threats of its preservation, which is what the last part is talking about. So this is a perfect purpose. Okay, this is the primary purpose of our entire passage. But let's also look at D option. Call attention to the work done by BKD, who helped the geological scientists to zero in on the little known M cave. Again, this is very partial in scope, so this should not be our answer. The perfect answer is C. Now let's go into the second question, guys. All of the following statements can be inferred from the passage except, so what cannot be inferred from the passage? Okay, stalagmites can provide information on climate changes in the past. Okay, yes, we can understand this, so this can be inferred. Okay, that is why they came to take the specimen, right? The Holocene period lasted for 11,700 years. The Holocene period did not last for only 11,700 years. As far as I understand from the passage, it started 11,700 years ago, but this is still going on. He is not told that the Holocene period has ended. So this, in my opinion, this should not be inferred from the passage. Anyways, let's look at the other two as well. Large cave systems tend to develop in limestone bedrock. Obviously, this is what we can infer from the passage because Meghalaya has so much of it, right? So this can be inferred. And so D, A severe climatic aridification event started in about 2200 BC. Now, since we are in the 21st century, okay, and some kind of this aridification event began in 4200 years before, okay, so we can infer that this started in 2200 BC. So this is also inferable. The only one thing that cannot be inferred from all these four is B, so that should be our correct answer. Now, if you're moving to the third question, the geological researchers chose to work in Meghalaya for all of the following reasons except. So what is one of the reasons that they did not choose, Meghalaya? 1700 odd caves in Meghalaya were extensively studied and mapped, which make the collection of stalagmite specimens relatively easier. Okay, now see, all these 1700 were not actually mapped. Okay, most of these 1700 were mapped is what we know. But okay, so this looks like a pretty good answer for me. But let's look at the other ones. Maybe there's a better answer. Okay, so Meghalaya has an extensive network of caves. Yes, this is one of the reasons that they chose to come to Meghalaya for. So this will not be our answer. The general patterns and trends in the Indian monsoon can be extrapolated by observing changes for pattern of monsoon in Meghalaya. Yes, this is the epicenter of Indian monsoon, or this is the epicenter of monsoon, right? So that is why that's one of the primary reasons why people have come to study monsoon over here. So this is not the answer. The caves in Meghalaya have S formations from which scientists can extract information about the variations in rainfall over a period of time. Yes, again, this is also one of the reasons. That is why they have come to take the S specimens, right? So this is not going to be our correct answer. As far as this option is concerned, A option is concerned, he says that they have been extensively studied and mapped. Okay, now again, BKD just identified and mapped a few of them. They have not been extensively studied, not all of them have been mapped. That's what's been told to us. So this could not be our reason for them coming to the Meghalaya to study all choose to work in Meghalaya. So this will be our correct answer. Now, which of the following statements can be inferred from the passage? The M cave's geographical significance primarily stems from its unique status as the deepest limestone cave ever discovered. See, nowhere have we ever mentioned that this is the deepest limestone cave, so I'm going to remove this. The scientific, so this is something we call as an out of scope choice. Okay. The scientific community reached a consensus on defining the Meghalayan age only after BKD located the M cave. No, scientific community thought of this way long ago. BKD came way after. So this is also not going to be my correct answer. A major global climate event evidenced by monsoon changes in India coincided with the period of significant stress on agricultural societies. Yes, there was a major drought and that coincided with the Upper Holocene era. So this can be inferred. If the next option is not better, we will pick C as our correct answer. The economic development of M village is explicitly prioritized over the preservation of its natural scientific resources. No. This has not been told. They're afraid that this will happen, but this has not already happened and it's not been really told to us. So this won't be our. So the right answer will be option C. Now, please tell me in the comments how many questions you've gotten correct. If you learned something new, please like this video and share it with all your friends who are preparing for CAT. I'll see you in the next one.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.